please don't look at the exact numbers, but more about it's more about the general direction and the reasoning behind those numbers. And that's true for all my analysis and all my charts. So for example, you could say, oh yeah, it's below 64, and you said it couldn't go below 64 because it's a support line. No, it can be below there, but I don't think it will stay there for long. And the general pattern that we see is that the 5-month is above the 2-year, above the realized price. And that situation is true in bull markets.
In his recent video, PlanB, the creator of the Bitcoin stock-to-flow model, shared an extremely optimistic outlook on the general direction and reasoning behind Bitcoin's price movement. He explains that while Bitcoin's price might occasionally dip below support levels like the $64,000 line, this should not be a major concern. As such, dips are usually temporary. The critical pattern to watch is that in bull markets, the 5-month realized price remains above the 2-year realized price and the overall realized price. This pattern is a key indicator of a bull market, and despite short-term fluctuations, the long-term trend remains upward. Meanwhile, in an article from Crypto Adventure, market analysts believe a potential for a profitable July for Bitcoin and Ethereum based on historical performance and current market conditions. Historically, Bitcoin has shown a median return of 9.6% in July and tends to bounce back strongly after a negative performance in June, with an average return of nearly 8% during July. This year, after a nearly 10% decline in June, Bitcoin is set up for a potential uplift in July based on these historical patterns. Trading volumes for Bitcoin and Ethereum have dipped from $90 billion in May to $75 billion in June. This consolidation in trade volumes is seen as setting a healthier stage for the next wave of market activity. Analysts note that recovery patterns post-June slumps historically indicate strong bounce-backs in July performances, particularly for Bitcoin. With that being said, let's take a look at some clips from PlanB's video update. Please take a little moment to show your support by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Thanks and enjoy the video.
Okay, first chart, the stock-to-flow model. Bitcoin closed June a little bit above 62,000, and so the market is in a boring trading range for a couple of months now between 60 and 70k. And until we find direction, it will stay there. So after a halving, the Bitcoin price always lags the model value and the price starts moving only a couple months after the halving, and it takes 12 to 18 months before the price gets to the stock-to-flow model predictions. So in my opinion, we just need some patience. And I know that's difficult, but it's the only thing we can do. Wait. Next chart, red. We're still in a bull market. And I know it might feel differently, but the numbers don't lie. Those are all on-chain numbers. There's nothing abnormal. We should be here. I would be worried if we would get yellow now or green, which is impossible, but yellow. But we don't have it. It's red. It's a bull market. So that gives me some comfort. RSI, that's interesting. Dropped a little bit, or is stable between 60 and 70, you could say. It's 65 now. It was 69. And some people think the bull market is over. And actually their reasoning is quite interesting. The reasoning is that Bitcoin has diminishing returns. So each cycle we see the tops getting lower and the bottoms getting lower. And also in this RSI chart you can clearly see a diminishing return pattern. I don't believe in diminishing returns. I believe in exponential returns. But anyway, the people that think the bull market is over also see a normalizing. So they think Bitcoin markets are normalizing to a normal trading range. So the normal trading range of the RSI is between 30 and 70. So for stocks, for example, for foreign exchange markets, it's all between 30 and 70. So Bitcoin is a bit higher. So you could see this peak at above 70 as a normalizing of the Bitcoin markets, and then we see a bear market that's probably steeper into the 30 area. So I can understand that reasoning, the bear market reasoning, but I don't think that will be the case. In my opinion, there will not be diminishing returns, there will be exponential returns, and we will see RSI values above 80 again, like in 2013, in 2017, and in 2021. So time will tell, but it is interesting, and we'll be watching the RSI quite closely. Next chart is the moving average, 200-week moving average. So that's roughly 4 years. So we take the average Bitcoin price of the last 4 years. That's the dark black line, and it's at 37 right now, rising as always. This 200-week moving average has never gone down, but slowly rising, and nothing abnormal.
PlanB discusses the current state of the Bitcoin market and how it aligns with his stock-to-flow model. He starts by noting that Bitcoin closed June above $62,000 and has been trading within a range of $60,000 to $70,000 for the past few months. According to PlanB, after each Bitcoin halving event, the price typically lags behind the S2F model's predicted value. It usually takes 12 to 18 months post-halving for Bitcoin's price to catch up with the model's predictions. He notes the need for patience, as the market may take time to move in the expected direction. Despite the current market conditions, PlanB believes that Bitcoin is still in a bull market. He finds reassurance in the on-chain data, which indicates nothing abnormal. He mentions that he would be concerned if the data showed a shift to a yellow or green zone, but it remains red, suggesting that the bull market continues. Finally, PlanB talks about the 200-week moving average, a long-term trend indicator, which is currently at $37,000 and rising. This average has historically never decreased, indicating a consistently upward long-term trend for Bitcoin's price. Overall, PlanB remains optimistic about Bitcoin's future performance, believing it will continue to follow the long-term upward trend predicted by the S2F model. Now let's get back to what PlanB has to say about the next charts.
Bitcoin realized price. Now the realized price is 31 at the end of June. The 2-year realized price is 48,000, and the 5-month realized price, the short-term hodler price, is 65 right now. So Bitcoin is a little bit below the 5 months realized price, and this light blue line, the 5 months realized price, has always served as a support line in bull markets. So Bitcoin rarely goes below this line. It sticks to that line actually. And the same has been true for the last couple of months. So right now, Bitcoin sitting at that light blue line, or actually being a little bit below that line, is very interesting. I expect it to bounce from this 5-month realized price up, and but we don't want to go down, so we're closely watching this as well. And please don't look at the exact numbers, but it's more about the general direction and the reasoning behind those numbers, and that's true for all my analysis and all my charts. So for example, you could say, oh yeah, it's below 64, and you said it couldn't go below the 64 because it's a support line. No, it can be below there, but I don't think it will stay there for long. And the general pattern that we see is that the 5-month is above the 2-year, above the realized price, and that situation is true in bull markets. In bear markets, we see the 5-month realized price first drop below the 2-year realized price, and then drop below the realized price. It happened every bear market. So those are the signals, the big directions that we're looking for, not if this number is at the line or slightly below the line or 1,000 up or down. That's not important. So right now all looks normal. I expect a bounce from that 65,000, but we'll see. Realized return, sellers got 13% return in June. That's not much, but it's positive, and you can compare it, I think, with 2017. You had some red, some green, orange. Same hesitation in the market as at the start of the 2017 bull market. Now, blue would worry me, right? In talking about this general direction and the reasoning behind the numbers, blue would worry me. Green doesn't. Orange, yellow. This is all in line with history. Bitcoin in profit, same thing. 90% of the hodlers is in profit, and we can compare that, well, maybe to 2013. A lot of yellow and orange and red at the start of the bull market, at the level of the last top, and we see that again here. Some hesitation. Market is clearly searching for direction. I hope it will get that direction anytime soon, and until that time, we have to be patient. Okay.
PlanB discusses Bitcoin's realized price, which is currently $31,000 at the end of June, with the 2-year realized price at $48,000, and the short-term holder, F Monon, realized price at $65,000. He notes that Bitcoin is slightly below the 5-month realized price, represented by a light blue line that has traditionally served as a support line during bull markets. Typically, Bitcoin does not fall below this line and tends to stick close to it. Despite Bitcoin currently sitting just below this line, PlanB expects it to bounce back up. He emphasizes that the exact numbers are less important than the general direction and reasoning behind them, noting that while Bitcoin can briefly dip below support levels, it is unlikely to stay there for long. Lastly, PlanB notes that 90% of Bitcoin holders are in profit, similar to the situation in 2013, where there was a lot of market hesitation at the start of the bull market. He acknowledges that the market is currently searching for direction and hopes it will find it soon. Until then, he advises patience. Now guys, if you're watching this video, you're clearly interested in crypto. If you want to stay most up to date on the crypto and Bitcoin world, make sure to subscribe to my daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It gives the latest expert predictions, any breaking news, and top on-chain analysis all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description to join over 60,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now. Anyway guys, that's all for today's video. I hope it brought you some value. I'll see you all in the next one, and as always, all the best.